I do. All right, all right, all right. Let me get this together here. All right. Hey, hey, navigators, and welcome to another episode of Astrology After Dark. So, tonight I am excited about this topic because this is something that I really struggle with really, really bad. Um, and it had a lot to do with how I allow people in my life, especially my ex husband, to treat me. And it's something that I feel that really needs to be brought to your attention so that you can uh, make that shift in your life, okay? And so, what tonight's episode is going to be about is people pleasing, okay? And so, people pleasing, it might feel like kindness, it might feel like, you're showing love, but in reality, what it's really doing is silently locking you into a victim mindset and you become a doormat, okay? And so tonight I'm going to talk about why this happens and how you can stop it. Now, I'm also going to explain how you can tap into the energetic transits of Saturn in Aries and Venus in Leo to help you to move away from people pleasing and step into your power so that you can cultivate relationships that feel empowered. Okay. And so get your notebook, something to write with, because we're about to really jump into it. Okay. And so, if you are new to me or to the channel, welcome. My name is Katrice. I'm the Natal Chart Navigator and the Director of Education, Dean of Education here at Understanding You University. And on this channel, I teach newly divorced women how to use their natal charts to heal and move through the 6 stages of divorce easier and with more grace. And so, if you are a returning navigator, well, welcome back. Nice to have you back. All right. And so, let's go ahead and jump into it. All right. Okay. So before I get started, I want to like really dive into exactly what is people pleasing, okay? Because this is, um, it's not just about being nice to people or doing things for people, okay? People pleasing is when you are consistently putting other people's needs, expectations, and opinions above your own, okay? And so on the surface, it looks like you're just being supportive, you're just showing love, you're just being kind. But underneath it, people pleasing usually comes from fear. Okay, there's this underlying air of fear. Okay, and so it can be fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, or fear of conflict. Okay, fear of conflict was one that I had. I don't like conflict, and so I would people please in order to avoid conflict. Okay, and so when you live your life like this, you're not acting from your authentic self. Okay. You're acting from survival mode. Okay. So let me know in the comments, where do you feel like the root of your pleasing comes from? Now, there's no judgment here. I mean, I just told y'all, mine came from a fear of rejection. Okay. So there's no judgment here. Like this is something that and if you don't want to post it in the comments, that's fine. You don't have to. But if you feel like it, let me know, where do you feel like the root of your pleasing comes from? Okay. And so people pleasing, it's not just about being nice. It's about abandoning yourself in order to be accepted, loved, or needed, or to keep the peace. Okay. It's saying yes when every part of your body wants to say no. It's dimming your light so no one feels uncomfortable when you shine. I got a whole story about that, but I'm not going to get into it. But just know, so like if you have your sun in the 10th house of your chart, the 10th house is the most visible part of your chart. Okay. It's at the top of the sky, and 10th house is it's your career, but it's also your legacy. And it's authority. Okay. And so when you have your sun in the 10th house, it makes you very, very visible. And also, if you have strong Leo energy too, so Leo rising, Leo sun, um, it can also, because Leo is ruled by the sun, having your sun there, it makes you very visible. And so that can also, when you're that visible and you just shine like naturally, and just walking around doing you shining. And especially people who are very insecure with themselves, they will try to dim your light. And so you may dim your own light to keep them from feeling uncomfortable. Okay. And so you people please in order to make people who aren't as comfortable with themselves not feel insecure around you. Okay. Now, while we're talking about astrology, you definitely, if you have strong placements in the signs of Virgo, Cancer, Libra, or Pisces, or even heavy Neptune energy, okay, um, you probably are a big people pleaser. I'm a Virgo sun, Virgo Venus, Libra Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto. And so I definitely, and then my 12th house is Cancer. So I definitely had the energy for people pleasing. Have the energy because it ain't going nowhere. The energy's not gone anywhere, but the people pleasing is definitely gone. Um, Also, any aspects that you may have to Neptune, especially more difficult, I don't say difficult, I'll say challenging aspects. So, like any squares or oppositions that you have, any of your placements to Neptune, that can also kind of make you people please as well. Okay. And the reason that you do this is because with these energies, harmony and compassion are so natural to you, and you want to just, have that harmony, have that compassion with everybody. But you forget about you, and you forget to anchor in yourself before you go out in trying to help everybody and heal the world. Okay. And so whether or not you have it in your chart or not, okay, people pleasing is often rooted in childhood. Okay. And so maybe when you were praised, maybe, when you were little, you were praised when you made others happy, or maybe you learned that conflict meant danger. And so, you know, you decided, okay, if I keep the peace, then I stay safe. Okay. If I do what they want and it makes them happy, then they'll love me. Okay. And so this is something that was learned. Okay. It wasn't innate. It didn't come innate. You learned this. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, I want to now shift and talk about how people pleasing creates a victim mindset. So when you give your power away by always saying yes, then you're training yourself to believe that your happiness depends on someone else's approval. Okay. And so that is the definition of victim energy. You're not in control, and life is just happening to you. Okay. And so when you get in a victim mindset, it's not just about people pleasing. It's about it takes over every area of your life. And so you start looking at life through the lens of, oh my gosh, this is always happening to me. Why do they treat me this way? Why is this always happening to me? Why can't I ever just get a break? Okay. And so what you're not realizing is that you are the root cause of what is going on. Okay. So when you live for others' approval, you are automatically giving away your authority. You place your sense of safety, value, and identity into someone else's hands. And that is the definition of victim consciousness. Okay. So it could sound like I can't say no or they'll be upset. I can't ask for what I want or else that's selfish. I have no choice. They will leave me if I don't. Ooh, see that one right there? They'll leave me if I don't. Bye. Bye. But and we all have different reasons why, if you are a people pleaser, then you have your reason why you are a people pleaser. Like I said earlier, mine was because I don't like conflict. I like peace. I like harmony. That's classic Libra energy. Okay. And my Mercury, which Mercury is our thoughts. Okay. How we process thoughts, how we communicate. It is in Libra, and Libra is the sign of harmony and balance and fairness and justice. Okay. Um, but now it could be something else, right? But either way, like, not saying that that is worse than where mine was or nothing. It's just different strokes for different strokes. At the end of the day, it's all people pleasing. Okay. And all of it strips you from you being able to be in your power. Okay. And so when I said those different statements, okay, did you see how the power was placed outside of you? It didn't start within you, it was placed outside of you. Okay. And so now, victimhood, it isn't always loud. It can be quiet compliance. Okay. And the danger in it is that it feels noble. And so you may tell yourself, oh, I'm just being kind. But deep down, you are actually betraying yourself. Okay. And every time you betray yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are powerless. Okay. Now, what is so dangerous about this is that you might not even realize that you are doing it. Okay. You may not even realize it. Okay. People pleasing feels noble, but it keeps you small, exhausted, and waiting for others to validate your worth. And so you end up living like you're powerless when in truth, your spirit and energy are screaming otherwise. Okay. All right. Now, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will definitely, go back and answer. Okay. All right. So here are, I want to go over some signs that you may be a people pleaser, because you might not think that you are a people pleaser. Okay. But people pleasing is sneaky. Okay. It's very sneaky. Okay. So the first one is chronic apologizing, saying sorry for existing, for taking up space, or for needing help. You apologize constantly, even when you've done nothing wrong. Resentment masked as kindness. Okay. You agree to help, but then feel drained or bitter afterwards, but you don't say anything about it. Okay. The next one is fear of conflict. So you stay quiet when you want to speak, you avoid hard conversations, you tolerate disrespect, all in the name of keeping the peace. And if your truth will cause conflict, you silence it. Okay. The next one is excessive busyness. And so you fill your schedule with everyone else's needs so that you don't have to face your own. And then the last one is self worth tied to service, believing that you only deserve love if you're useful or if you measure your value by how much you do for others. Okay. Now, if you find yourself nodding at even one of these, it's not judgment, it is awareness. And awareness is the first step towards transformation. Okay. Now, if you are a people pleaser, this very well could have been um, a key in the downfall and subsequent divorce, um, downfall of your marriage and subsequent divorce, right? Because eventually you will get tired of people pleasing. If you start to recognize that you're constantly doing for others and you're not getting it back in return, when you do for them, it's never good enough. When if something goes awry, you're the first one they blame. They don't even sit and think about all of the good that you've done for them. All they do is harp on the mistakes. All of that is tied to your people pleasing. And so you've given them the power. And so now they have the power to feel like they can treat you any kind of way. They can use you however you want. And then when you are no longer of value to them, then they can just discard you. Okay. And so by you becoming aware of what's going on, now you can flip the script and take your power back. Okay. Now I want to go over a couple of astrological transits that we are currently in that can support you in your transformation of um, going from people pleasing to, pulling your power back and you being in control. Okay. The first one is Saturn in Aries. So right now, Saturn is currently in Aries. It's retrograde, but it's getting ready to move back into Pisces. Okay. Now, if you remember, I said earlier that Pisces was one of the signs that can be big on people pleasing. Okay. Now, Saturn is the great malefic. Okay. And it represents karma. And it also shows us some of our deepest fears. Okay. Especially as it relates to loss of control, irresponsibility, and hard work. But Saturn also represents boundaries. Okay. And a big thing about people pleasing is that you lack boundaries. Okay. Now, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and it is ruled by Mars. Okay. Mars is our willpower. It's, how we take action. And Aries is cardinal fire energy and it symbolizes new beginnings. It is a very self-directed energy. It is self-reliant energy and it rejects being controlled by others. Okay. And so with Saturn being in Aries, but it's moving back into Pisces, Pisces energy is a very fluid, very boundless energy. It's mutable energy. Okay. And so having Saturn there, um, Saturn will, Saturn in Pisces, it can help you to strengthen your boundaries. Okay, it can help you to stop wanting to be there for everybody, do everything for everybody, and it can make you take a look and say, am I receiving what I am giving? Okay. Now, when Saturn in Aries, it is in detriment, no, in fall, um, because Saturn and Aries energy, they're two totally opposite energies. However, Saturn, because Aries is the energy of self, okay, it represents like a very self-directed, self-focused energy. You can, and then Saturn with the boundaries, you can use that energy to assert, to be very assertive, because Aries is a very assertive energy. Use that energy to assert your boundaries and not feel bad. Okay. If you know anybody that's an Aries, they have strong Aries energy. Um, when they tell you no, it's a no, and they don't feel bad at all. Because by the time you've had any record, any chance to be mad or be upset, they've already moved on. They've already moved on to whatever else they were going to do. Like when they say no, it's a no. Like they really honor what their word, and that's just what it is. Like if they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it, right? And so this is an energy that you can really tap into to help you to be strong and firm within your boundaries. Okay. Um, Now, Venus in Leo. Okay. Um, Another reason that people can people please is um, a lack of love, but more specifically, a lack of trust within themselves. Okay. Um, Now, Leo energy is the fifth sign of the zodiac, and it is ruled by the sun. Okay. Hence, why people say, Leos think that the sun revolves around them. Well, I mean, technically, they're ruled by the sun, so, kind of, sort of, yeah. But it's fixed fire energy, and it is full of warmth and vitality, has a zest for life, um, and it's a very exciting energy, and it can be a very motivating energy as well. Leo energy is naturally confident and bold, but it can be stubborn. Okay. Now, Venus, which is the lesser benefic, it represents your love language and how you interrelate with others. It also represents your self worth, especially in women, and its influence is both personal and interpersonal. Okay. So while Venus is in Leo, you might hear a lot of people talk about, this is a great time for romance and love, if you got a partner or whatever. But the the key about this transit is self love. Okay. Because however you feel inside about yourself is what is going to be reflected outside of you. And that is the type of people that you are going to attract. So if you don't have a good love for yourself and you are consistently looking outside of yourself for somebody to show you love, to treat you the way that you want to be treated, then you're going to get people who aren't going to treat you the way you want to be treated. They're going to treat you how you treat you. Okay. And so during this transit, Venus is going to be in Leo until the 19th of September. And so during this transit specifically, working on your self-worth, working on your self-love, working on your self-trust is going to be key for you in helping you to shift out of victim consciousness and into a more empowered consciousness, into creator consciousness. Okay. All right. So now I want to get into talking about the energetics of breaking free um, from people pleasing. Okay. So breaking free from people pleasing, it is not just about behavior. It is about your energy. Okay. And so the victim mindset, it vibrates at the frequency of fear and scarcity. Okay. And so shifting out of that, it means for you to um, it means for you to shift into um, your reclaiming your frequency of power, of choice, and of self trust. Okay. And so it starts with awareness. Okay. So you have to become aware that you are a people pleaser. Okay. And like I said earlier, if you are, it's not about, judging yourself. Okay. It's about you being aware that, yes, I am a people pleaser, and no, I don't want to do this shit no more. Okay. And so the first thing that you can do is to honor your boundaries. Okay. And this can be hard. This can be very hard. But every no you say to others is a yes to yourself. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors that keep your energy sacred. Saying no is not rejection, it is self respect. Okay. And respect is something that a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand boundaries, and they feel as if, just because you did something for me once, that you should just keep doing it. And no, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not doing it. And don't feel bad because you told somebody no. It is what it is. Okay. Now, number two is to pause before you respond. Okay. And so instead of giving an automatic yes, ask yourself, if I say yes, will it drain me or will it expand me? That 3-second pause rewires the old pattern. And so another thing that you can ask yourself is, am I doing this from love or from fear of what they'll think if I don't? The third thing is to reframe conflict. Okay. So if you are conflict averse, like I was, this is definitely for you. Now, conflict is not rejection, it's clarity. And so when you allow someone to see the real you, you create the possibility for real connection. Healthy disagreements do not mean abandonment. They mean that you are being real and you are honoring you. Okay. You're honoring you. You're honoring your thoughts. You're honoring your feelings. Because just like their thoughts and their feelings are important to them, yours are just as important to you as well. Okay. The fourth thing is to rebuild your self trust. And so you can start with small promises to yourself. If you say, I'll rest tonight, honor it. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you are your safe place, and you prove to yourself that your life is yours to lead. Okay? And then the last one, you shift from victim to creator. And so begin by affirming, I have a choice and I create my reality. My needs matter. It may feel foreign at first, but with repetition, you reclaim your authority. And I ain't gonna lie, it do feel very, very foreign to be like, I'm the creator of my reality. I'm, the creator, my needs matter. It feels kind of like weird, right? But when you have put yourself down for so long, as you're putting yourself down, think about it. Did it feel weird when you were putting yourself down? Okay. So it's like, if it didn't feel weird when you were putting yourself down, then don't make it not feel weird to build yourself up. Okay. Now, this is the shift from victim to empowered creator. You stop being the character in someone else's story and you start being the author of your own. Okay. Now, I want you to pause and ask yourself. Okay. And you can write this down as well. You know, you can journal. Shift from victim to creator. Exactly. Yes, yes, and yes. So I want you to pause. You can journal this as well. Journaling has been something that it really helped me on my divorce recovery. Um, to really just get how I was feeling out. Another thing that really helped me was music. Music helped me to make sense of how I was feeling inside because sometimes I couldn't get the words out of my head. But it was like I would put on music and a song would come on, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's how I'm feeling. Are these people like peeping in my house? But I want you to ask yourself, where in my life am I shrinking to keep the peace? Where am I betraying my own needs just to be accepted? Okay. And this, again, this is not about shame or judgment. It's about awareness because the moment you see it, you're no longer trapped in it. And you step out of victimhood and into authorship. You begin writing a new story where your voice, your desires, and your power lead the way. Now, remember, you were not born to live at the mercy of others' approval or to, be there at their every whim or beck and call. You were born to create a life rooted in your truth, in your power, and in your joy. Okay. All right, so let me know in the comments if you want. Okay, if you don't, it's okay. But you can also journal this as well. What's one area of your life where you're ready to stop people pleasing and start reclaiming your power? Okay. All right. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode and allowing this conversation to pour into you. And so my intention is to always help you to navigate your divorce recovery with more clarity, ease, and grace. And so, if this content did resonate with you and help you to feel seen, validated, or even just a little lighter, then give it a like and share it out with another divorcee or another woman who has gone through a really emotional breakup that could use some guidance and community while navigating her recovery. Okay. The next live, I go live every Thursday. It's probably gonna be at 9 o'clock. I don't know why I said 8:30 because that's just way too early. I sometimes still be cooking at 8:30, but it's normally 9 o'clock. So it'll probably be every Thursday at 9. But check the community tab because I always post, when I'm going live. All right. So now, if you want to continue to learn how you can use which journal prompt, it was a couple. So the last one was, what's one area of your life where you're ready to stop people pleasing and start reclaiming your power? Let me put it in the comments here. Um, So I'll put this one here in the comments. That's that one. And then there was two others that I'll put as well. Um, okay. Okay, that was those two there. Okay, now if you want to get a copy of my ebook, the From Breakup to Brilliance, the Natal Astrology Healing Method, you can. It's free. Just click the link on the channel homepage, and you can get that copy. And in the ebook, um, I I teach the first three practical steps of the natal healing method. Now, also, if you want to book an energetic calibration reading with me, you can do so also at the link um, on the channel homepage if you want more guidance outside of the content that I provide on the channel. Okay. And so until next time, remember that possibilities are endless. If you can think of it, then you can have it. And that should definitely make you smile because you are the only person in this world that can give it to you. All right. So I will see you on the next stream. Have a good one.